If you're over 60 and you're still drinking plain water, you're making a mistake that's costing your blood pressure every single day. And before you think I'm about to sell you some expensive supplement, I'm not. What I'm talking about costs less than 50 cents, sits in most kitchens right now, and a 2026 randomized controlled trial out of Belgium just proved it can drop systolic blood pressure by over 8 points in 8 weeks. That's the same range as a starter dose of lisinopril. From something you add to water, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, why it works, and how to use it. But first, you need to understand why plain water alone isn't doing what you think it's doing for your blood pressure. Because what I'm about to explain at the end of this video is the reason some people's blood pressure won't come down no matter how many medications they take. Water keeps you hydrated. That's important. But hydration alone doesn't fix the two things that actually drive blood pressure up in people over 60. The first is oxidative stress. As you age, the inner lining of your arteries, called the endothelium, gets damaged by free radicals. These are unstable molecules that tear into the artery walls like rust eating through a pipe. When the endothelium is damaged, it stops producing nitric oxide, the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and open up. Less nitric oxide means tighter arteries. Tighter arteries mean higher pressure. The second is chronic inflammation. Inflammatory proteins circulating in the blood cause the smooth muscle around your arteries to stiffen and thicken over time. Water doesn't address inflammation. Water doesn't neutralize free radicals. Water is the vehicle. But the vehicle needs fuel. And that fuel comes from something the longest living populations on Earth have been consuming for thousands of years. Extra virgin olive oil. Not cooking oil. Not light olive oil. Not the cheap blended stuff in the plastic bottle. Cold-pressed, extra virgin olive oil. The kind that tastes slightly peppery at the back of your throat when you swallow it. That peppery burn is a compound called oleocanthal, and it works on the same anti-inflammatory pathway as ibuprofen, except it doesn't destroy your stomach lining or strain your kidneys. A March 2026 double-blind, placebo-controlled trial published in PLOS ONE gave 56 adults with elevated blood pressure a standardized olive extract every day for 8 weeks. The intervention group saw their systolic blood pressure drop by 8.3 millimeters of mercury. The researchers attributed the effect to two specific polyphenols in olive oil, oleuropein and hydroxytyrosol. These compounds reduce oxidative stress, boost nitric oxide production in the endothelium, and lower the inflammatory markers that stiffen artery walls. Here's what makes these polyphenols different from other antioxidants you've heard about. Most antioxidants from food get broken down in the stomach before they reach the bloodstream in meaningful quantities. Oleuropein and hydroxytyrosol survive digestion. They reach the endothelium intact and go to work directly on the artery wall, repairing the damage that free radicals have been doing for years. They also inhibit the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, which is the specific process that turns harmless cholesterol particles into the damaged, rancid particles that start plaque formation inside your arteries. But the study confirmed something even more important. The polyphenols in olive oil are water-soluble and absorb faster when dissolved or mixed with water than when consumed with fatty foods, which means adding a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil to a glass of water first thing in the morning is one of the most efficient ways to get these compounds into your bloodstream, right when your blood pressure is at its highest and your arteries are under the most strain. Let me tell you about two populations that figured this out long before the clinical trials caught up. In Crete, Greece, the average person consumes roughly 25 liters of olive oil per year. That's nearly 10 times what the average American consumes. And Crete has historically had one of the lowest rates of cardiovascular death in the world. The Predimed trial, one of the largest diet studies ever conducted, followed 7,447 people at high cardiovascular risk and found that those assigned to a Mediterranean diet supplemented with extra virgin olive oil had a 30% lower rate of major cardiovascular events compared to the control group, 30%, from an oil. In Okinawa, Japan, one of the world's 5 blue zones where people routinely live past 100, the traditional diet includes very little saturated fat but consistent daily intake of plant-based oils and antioxidant-rich vegetables. Okinawans over 80 have blood pressure readings that most American 50-year-olds would envy. The pattern is the same across every blue zone. Populations that consume daily sources of polyphenol-rich fats have dramatically lower rates of hypertension, stroke, and heart disease. It's not genetics. When Okinawans move to the United States and adopt a Western diet, their blood pressure and heart disease rates climb to match everyone else's within a generation. Your kitchen already has the ingredient. The research says it works. The question is whether you're using it correctly. Let me tell you about Dorothy. Dorothy was 68, retired school bus driver, had been on amlodipine for 7 years. Her blood pressure sat around 144/88. Her doctor told her it was controlled enough, She didn't feel controlled. She felt tired all the time. Her ankles swelled by the evening. A friend told her about adding olive oil to her morning water. She thought it sounded crazy, but tried it anyway. Every morning at 6:30, Dorothy poured a glass of room temperature water, added 1 tablespoon of cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, squeezed in half a lemon, and drank it before breakfast. She changed nothing else. Same medication, same diet, same walks. 4 weeks later, her home blood pressure readings were averaging 134/82. 8 weeks later, 128/78. Her doctor reduced her amlodipine dose by half. Here's the protocol, based on the research and what's been shown to work. 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil in 8 to 10 ounces of water every morning within 30 minutes of waking. Add a squeeze of lemon if you prefer the taste. Lemon also provides vitamin C, which supports endothelial repair. Drink it on an empty stomach so the polyphenols absorb quickly without competing with other foods. Use oil that comes in a dark glass bottle, not plastic, because light and heat degrade the polyphenols. Look for a harvest date on the label, not just an expiration date. Fresh oil has the highest polyphenol content. If the oil tastes peppery, that's the oleocanthal. That's what you want. If it tastes flat or greasy with no bite, it's old or overprocessed, and most of the beneficial compounds are gone. Do this consistently for 8 weeks before judging the results. The Belgian trial showed the blood pressure effect was cumulative, meaning the drop got larger over the full 8 weeks, not smaller. Week 1, you might see nothing. Week 4, you'll start noticing. Week 8 is when the full effect shows up on your home monitor. Consistency is everything. 1 tablespoon today doesn't help. 1 tablespoon every morning for 2 months does. Plain water hydrates, but it doesn't fight the oxidative stress and inflammation that are actually driving your blood pressure up. A single tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, added to your morning water, delivers the same polyphenols that a 2026 clinical trial showed can drop blood pressure by 8 points in 8 weeks. It's backed by population data from Greece, Japan, and the largest Mediterranean diet trial ever conducted. It costs almost nothing, and it works through the exact mechanisms, nitric oxide production and endothelial repair, that your blood pressure medication can't touch. Here's what most people don't understand about blood pressure. The medications your doctor prescribes are designed to force your blood pressure down through chemical pathways. They block receptors, they reduce fluid volume, they inhibit enzymes, and they work. But they don't repair the damage that caused the pressure to rise in the first place. The endothelium stays damaged. The oxidative stress continues. The inflammation keeps grinding away at your artery walls. You're managing a number on a monitor, while the underlying problem gets worse year after year. That's why so many people end up on 2, 3, sometimes 4 medications, and still can't get their numbers where they need to be. The polyphenols in extra virgin olive oil go after the root. They repair the endothelium. They neutralize the free radicals that are destroying your artery walls. They calm the inflammation that makes those walls stiff and rigid. You're not overriding the system with a chemical. You're giving the system what it needs to fix itself. And this isn't something you need to do alone. Keep taking your medication. Keep seeing your doctor. But add this one habit to your morning, track your numbers at home, and bring the results to your next appointment. If your blood pressure starts dropping consistently, your doctor may decide to adjust your medication downward. That's the best possible outcome. Not replacing the pills, but needing less of them because your arteries are actually healthier. Dorothy's doctor cut her dose in half. That could be you in 8 weeks. 1 tablespoon every morning. That's it.